The Jared Goff hate is still out of control. It's honestly comical at this point what people are still saying about Jared Goff and just the Lions in general. Now, this video isn't exclusively targeting the people that think the Lions should draft a quarterback in the first round, but that is a big part of it. Regarding if the Lions should draft a quarterback in the first round, in my opinion, which I don't give out on this channel, but if I were to give out my opinion, I would say that you are out of your fucking mind if you think the Lions should draft a quarterback in the first round to replace Jared Goff. With Jared Goff's contract, he's going to be in Detroit for at least the next 2 seasons. I do understand that Jared Goff is 28 years old, and after his next 2 years with the Lions, he's going to be 30. And I understand if people don't think Jared Goff will be the future of the Detroit Lions, or they're not sold on it yet. I understand that. In my personal opinion or prediction, I think he's going to play great again next season and the next season, and probably stay with Detroit for at least a few more years. Sure, an older quarterback isn't ideal for a team, but if they're playing amazing, who gives a fuck how old they are? Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old, and what, in like the last 3 years he won back-to-back MVPs? Like, who cares about age? I think the Lions will re-sign Jared Goff after the 2024 season if he's playing well, which I think he will, but maybe for only 2 years, not a longer contract. Sure, that's when age comes into play, but I don't understand why people are like, the Lions need a new quarterback, they're gonna draft somebody. Like, no. Obviously, I don't know what the GM's thinking, Brad Holmes, MCDC, I don't know what they're planning, what their game plan is, and I trust whatever they decide to do. So I would understand if they took a quarterback to sit behind Goff. I personally don't think that will happen, but I guess it could maybe in the later rounds, but I don't think the Lions are going to take a quarterback in the first round. 100% not in the first round. Now back to the people that think Jared Goff isn't the Detroit Lions future. I understand why you might think that. He comes in Detroit, doesn't have a great season, then he just has one good season and you don't really trust him. If you think that, you probably think Jared Goff is just a bridge for the Lions. A lot of people think that. They just think Jared Goff is taking the Lions through a rebuild and bringing them to their next quarterback. In this video, I'm going to hopefully prove to you why you should have faith in Jared Goff and why he could be the future of the Detroit Lions, and also show you all the slander around Goff and why these people are just crazy. To start off, let's look at these few sentences I took from an article I found earlier this morning. You've probably already read it as it's been on the screen for a while. He starts talking about how MCDC and the Lions are saying that Goff is their quarterback. They're establishing him as their quarterback. And of course, it's Detroit versus everybody. There's tons of Goff hate for no reason. Everybody sees that MCDC is like, yeah, Goff's our quarterback, and they go, are you sure you really want Goff as your quarterback? These Lions are crazier than ever. And this writer just had to be a dick about it and slander Goff. He goes, weird things happen in the NFL and the plan is for Goff to stay in Detroit. Like, why do you gotta say that? To me, it looks like slander on the Lions. He's like, weird things happen. the dumb Detroit Lions, they want to keep Goff as their QB, but I also think it can be read a little bit differently. I'm not really sure, but I'm guessing it's slander on the Lions. I also wanted to stop quick and mention and talk about this comment I got the other day before I continue. I have noticed a lot more media attention on the Lions, a lot more Lions fans, a lot more people making videos about the Lions, and this isn't all necessarily a bad thing. It's not like, oh, they're bandwagons, they shouldn't be talking about the Lions. I think it's fine. It's just things that happen in sports, like when Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs got hot, everyone likes the Chiefs a lot right now. However, I have two main criticisms, or is criticisms even? I have two main points against all the media attention on the Lions. First off, half of the people that talk about the Lions and say they kind of like the Lions now have been hating on the Lions their whole life, and they'll switch up on the Lions in an instant. For example, if Goff has a terrible season next year, which I don't think he will, but let's just say he does, throws a ton of interceptions and the Lions just suck and it's mainly Goff's fault, a lot of the media would just be like, yeah, Goff sucks, we've known this, he was never good, and they would never even talk about how he had this amazing season last year. Goff received so much hate for being a terrible quarterback when he's never really been a terrible he's been a winning quarterback a lot of his career. And the second point of criticism I have against all the media coverage on the Lions is everyone wants to talk about the Lions. I get it. It's what's hot, it's what's new. They want to talk about what's hot and new, what will get clicks, whatever. But when they do their media coverage on the Lions, they still manage to criticize and slander the Lions. I think they just do it subconsciously. It was like when Pat McAfee was apologizing, he was like, the city of Detroit has sucked for a long time, but you finally have something good. Like, shut the fuck up. Next up, I want to talk about Jared Goff's time with the Rams. I think Jared Goff's time with the Rams was extremely underappreciated. Goff was with the Rams for 5 years, and in those 5 seasons, he led them to 4 winning records and a Super Bowl appearance. And Goff's only losing record was his rookie season when he was 0-7, as he came in like week 10, played the last 7 games of the season, obviously lost them all because he was on a shitty team and he was a rookie. People continue year after year to underestimate Goff and not give him the credit he deserves. I think he's just a quiet man. He just doesn't get a bunch of attention, and I think it's fine. I like to think that Goff is just alone in a dark room right now, just thinking, I'm gonna fuck shit up next season. I'm gonna show everyone up, all those haters. Maybe not a dark room, because then he'd be taking Aaron Rodgers' thunder, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to take away all of his media coverage and interviews he has to do about his darkness retreat. It's actually pretty annoying. I've seen so many people talk about Aaron Rodgers' darkness retreat. I feel like we just went through this another season. The whole offseason is just, what's Aaron Rodgers gonna do? Where is he gonna go? Just all the attention's just Aaron. Pat McAfee had Aaron on like multiple times for multiple interviews talking about nothing regarding the darkness retreat. Pat was just like trying to be funny, and it was like really cringe. I even saw a title for Aaron Rodgers comes on to re-explain and solidify what he's actually doing on this darkness retreat. It's not that hard. He's gonna go sit in a dark room and contemplate life. Like, jeez. Sorry for the rant. It's just mad annoying, and you can't escape it. It's everywhere. To try to show you how good Jared Goff actually is, I'm gonna compare Jared Goff to Josh Allen. The top is Jared Goff's touchdown to interception ratio with his 6 seasons in the NFL, 2 with the Lions, 4 with the Rams. I'm discluding his rookie season because he only played 7 games. Jared Goff has thrown 150 touchdowns to only 63 interceptions, which is a great ratio. And not to mention, his team last year, the Detroit Lions, were the youngest team in the whole NFL. And 2 years ago, his first year with the Lions were rebuilding. They were doing a full team rebuild, and we're probably again one of the youngest teams in the NFL, and he still managed to put up great numbers. And the bottom row is Josh Allen. He's thrown 138 touchdowns to 60 interceptions in 5 seasons, so 1 less season than Goff, but nearly just as many interceptions. So you can't tell me that Goff isn't the future for the Detroit Lions, or at least just a bridge for the Detroit Lions over the next 2 more years, when he's putting up numbers that are comparable or better than Josh Allen's. Now, I'm not saying Jared Goff is Josh Allen, because Josh Allen runs the ball like crazy and loves to lower his shoulder, but you didn't see Jared Goff throw terrible interceptions down the stretch in the 4th quarter when the game was on the line like Josh Allen did multiple times throughout the season. Allen had 14 interceptions this season, while Goff only had 7. On the screen right now, I've mentioned this in previous videos before, but I don't feel like this record or what Goff accomplished with this specifically was recognized near as enough as it should this season. Through the final 9 games of this season, Goff did not throw a single interception. He threw 324 consecutive passes without throwing an interception. That's the 5th highest streak in NFL history, and it's still going. He could be number 1 by the end of next season, and he did this all while leading his team on an 8-2 record to end the season. I don't see how anyone could look at this and go, wow, Jared Goff, he might not be the future of the Detroit Lions. I think they should draft a quarterback in the 1st round, or even to say Jared Goff isn't the future of the Lions. How could someone regress from this? Sure, Jared Goff could have a bad season next year, but why are we even thinking about Jared Goff having a bad season next year? I swear, if Jared Goff put up a crazy statistic like this and had the season he had, especially the second half of the season, anywhere else, like let's say the Packers or the Vikings, everyone would be all over Goff. Everyone would be Goff this, Goff that, he's the future, he's gonna win like 3 rings, whatever. But no, he's on the Lions and has a phenomenal season, puts up crazy numbers and statistics, and everyone's thinking, is he really the future of the Lions? And since when has a solid quarterback put up good numbers, and fans and analysts everywhere are questioning, is he actually going to be good next season? I've just never seen it before. It just doesn't make sense. Goff is on the Rams for 4 seasons. Let's not include his rookie season. He leads the Rams to 4 winning records, multiple playoff appearances, and a Super Bowl appearance. Goff is then traded to the Detroit Lions, who are on a total rebuild. Goff still puts up solid numbers his first year, but the Lions are a bad team. I'm sorry, they're a bad team. They are young, they're rebuilding, and the Lions don't win many games, but Goff still still puts up decent numbers. And by decent numbers, Goff completed 67% of his passes, threw 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, and threw for over 3,000 yards with a terrible young team. Then a year later, same team, Goff brings the youngest team in the NFL to a 9-8 record, puts up record-breaking numbers, playing out of his mind, his best performance in his career, and people are questioning Goff. I would understand people questioning Goff if he was a bad quarterback and then has a good season, but that's not the case with Goff. Sure, he had a few questionable throws last year, but he's in a whole new environment, whole new coaching staff, new everything. Goff's whole career has been an upward trend of consistent improvement, and it makes sense that his most recent season would be the best in his career. And I also saw someone say that Goff was only good when his weapons were healthy. Okay, when Amon-Ra St. Brown and DJ Chark are healthy and his 2 young tight ends, sure, Goff's gonna play better. That's like saying Allen was bad because he didn't have Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. Like, what? And yes, I know the Lions have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL now, but the Bills have Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. Allen's throwing to veterans, some of the best wide receivers in NFL history. And Jared Goff outplayed Josh Allen this season. Sure, Jared Goff had a few questionable passes in the beginning of the season, but down the stretch, he didn't make a single one, while Josh Allen consistently threw interceptions in the red zone the whole season. I'm just using Josh Allen as a reference because people think Josh Allen, especially sports analysts, that Josh Allen is the next second coming of Christ when he's throwing the ball straight to corners and the defensive backs in the red zone and end zone. And we didn't see Goff miss wide open wide receivers, while Josh Allen multiple times throughout the season was missing Diggs wide open down the field. But don't just compare Jared Goff to Josh Allen, compare him to anyone in the league and you'll see that Jared Goff was superior besides Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Those are the only two that I would say were better than Jared Goff this season. Also, everyone loves to hate on Jared Goff in the cold. He can't play good in the cold. Jared Goff went to New Jersey twice this year, beat the Giants and the Jets, also went into Lambeau in the freezing cold, and he beat the Packers. He plays fine in the cold. Also, why does everyone, what is this new storyline of Jared Goff doesn't have a good arm? What the fuck? Where is this coming from? Jared Goff was a dime down the field. Most of his throws were like 10 to 20 yards down the field. Did no one watch the Lions this season? Did nobody see Goff's insane 50-yard bomb to Calif Raymond against the Packers while he was rolling out to his left and threw across his body accurately? Like, nobody saw it. It was probably more than 50 yards because he was throwing on an angle. Like, nobody's talking about that. Everybody wants to talk about how Patrick Mahomes had an insane flip up the field when Jared Goff, it might not be the future of the Lions and the Lions should draft a quarterback. Like, it's just, it's so annoying. Anyway, I know this was more of a rant type of video today. I enjoy making rants once in a while, like just less edited, more of me just talking, but the Jared Goff hate is just super annoying. I've seen so much of it and I'm just getting sick of it. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed my content, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Once again, thanks for watching.